I wanna be the Karate Kid that no one ever
Is that the
was.
song? That's not the song. That sounds like a
That's not the
montage
Karate.
song.
That sounds like a Karate Kid song. It's the Karate Kid thrown in with like
That sounded like the Pokemon.
Pokemon. Yeah, it's a
song.
Pokemon
Yeah.
song with me saying Karate Kid.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of commercials out here where during Christmas time, and I'm not even kidding you. There's this one place, it's a coffee place, even though it doesn't sound like it. It's called Honeydew. And the commercial goes, Honeydew, 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 honeydew. There's also a car dealership called Ira where like instead of like a catchy like song or phrase, it's just like Ira, Ira, Ira. Like it's just screaming. It's like that's those are ads in Massachusetts. People just like screaming and just like repeating the name over and over again.
Damn, at least in Arizona you need a catchy jingle to sell some shit.
Some people have the catchy jingle, but I don't even I just remember people screaming at me saying Ira or Honeydew in the jingle is it
Yeah, jingle
is it
bell.
jingle balls?
Jingle definitely jingle bells. Jingle balls is something different. You gotta pay for that.
Wicked smart, wicked cool, wicked fucking stupid, whatever the fuck. Just something wicked.
I'm baking like a toasted teaser. It's so hot here.
My boy's wicked smart.
Cause the boy is hotter than hot. He's hot, hot, hot.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Oh, so what do you think of the Tomb Raider movie? Like, what are you thinking right now? It got a 48%, but
Oh, it did? I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider is horrible. So,
dude, come on, that bungee cord scene though, the bungee cord scene in the first one where she's doing like a bungee cord in her giant fucking mansion. She's like bungee jumping in her mansion.
how do you remember this? I don't remember one scene from that movie.
I get asked this all the time and how I remember everything. I just remember dumb shit like this. like bungee cord scenes from Angelina Jolie movies and I don't know, other random stupid facts that don't matter.
Do you remember like fucking lines of dialogue from obscure movies like fucking Galaxy Quest or something?
Oh, come on. You know lines from movies.
Some movies.
I do retain a lot of stupid information. But anyway, welcome back, guys. Another episode. Wake Hot. Kevin and John. Kevin and I are we're kind of nervous. We're nervous for this episode because we got good stuff. But a lot of it can be, well, I guess it all is technically factual, but then it's, you know, it's our opinions on there. But
mostly an opinion filled episode.
It is a lot of opinion filled episode. So we posted a picture of Kevin. You'll have to take this because I actually, before we get into the fact that I didn't know who it was. Who was it? What was it? Who guessed it? Because I know someone guessed it right.
Somebody did, yeah. This actually was kind of an easy one. So you didn't know who was in this picture? You didn't know what this was?
No, I didn't.
You just thought I was posting a picture of two random black women.
Yes, because Marissa, I was just like on the computer researching for this episode, and Marissa goes, "You're doing an episode about black women?" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Who are these people?" And I was like, "Oh, Kevin told me it's like some ants from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air." Granted, I told you guys I was not a sitcom person, so it's not because I'm like too young. I just like I never had any like want to see the show.
You weren't a sitcom person back when you were like 6 years old.
Yeah, the laughing bothered me. I've been an awful like a miserable person for my entire life
since at least before you were 6.
Yeah.
So these two random black women are actually the two actresses that played Aunt Viv on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and there's kind of like a debate out there which one is everyone's favorite.
The true one. When did she get replaced?
I think after the second season, she was replaced.
How many seasons were there?
Oh god, there's like fucking 9 or something.
Okay, the first one doesn't count.
Yeah, it does. I would say if there's like one episode and then 3 seasons later they replace the person just to have him back as a cameo, I see that. But a series regular for 2 seasons and then you replace him, that is a legitimate...
For 7 seasons. For 7 seasons. It's not like replace it for 2 seasons. Replace it for 7. 7 beats 2.
There's 6. There's 6 seasons. Damn, feels like there's a lot. So she was for 4 of them. Yeah.
Okay. 4 versus 2. That's still a lot.
It's not as much as you thought it was.
Okay.
I'll just put it that
Fair
way.
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. It's not 7 compared to 2. But because that's what I'm like, dude, fucking 7 seasons? Are you kidding me? No.
That's like a whole new show.
That's like the Bewitched thing, right? Wasn't the Darren guy replaced? I feel like
He
everyone's
was.
replaced.
Yeah, he was.
Everyone's replaceable. Don't you forget that. I don't know what that was a very ominous threat. I will keep doing this fucking show without you.
Well, I guess this is my last episode. I'm getting kicked off.
Okay, so Kevin, yeah, we got sidetracked, but I know the person that got it, who was it?
It was Faux Diesel, and it took him like 5 minutes to guess after the picture was posted. So good on him.
Good on him, or maybe we just made it too easy. I think we made it too easy.
I think it was too easy, but how in the hell are you going to post a picture that describes that without really giving it away?
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So, guys, this week we have characters that were played by different actors. Same characters played by different actors. I'm just gonna jump right in. My first character, and I made sure not to do our normal.
Did you do a Star Wars one?
I didn't do a Star Wars character, and I didn't do. And you, you didn't do a Harry Potter one.
No, I did not do a Harry Potter
Okay. Okay. Cool. So my first character is Danny Ocean from Ocean's 11. He's played by Frank Sinatra and George Clooney. Now, I know this may seem a little biased, but the obvious choice here is George Clooney.
Obviously, George Clooney.
For one, Clooney actually plays the character Danny Ocean, whereas Sinatra is named Danny Ocean, but is basically Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, I think I've seen both. I saw the original one a long time ago. I don't remember anything from the movie.
Yeah. So I didn't actually see this. And I know people are going to say, John, you've never actually seen this movie. True. I did watch a couple clips of like more popular scenes on YouTube. And it's dated. I mean, Danny's wife is known as Beatrice in the movie. Which we know is Julia Roberts' character is Tess Ocean in the new movies. But I mean, aside from like it being dated, it just didn't have any sense of character. Sinatra plays himself, hanging out with friends in Las Vegas. The whole movie is with the Rat Pack. And for parts of these clips, I honestly was like, what the fuck am I watching?
They're
like,
just kind of they're like hanging out, talking,
they're hanging out.
having
I
a
was
good
like,
time.
Is there anyone going to steal anything? Like, I forgot they were even trying to get like rob the casinos. I think they forgot they were getting robbed. They were like, oh shit. Like, what are we doing? We're supposed to be like planning. We're over here gambling and smoking and drinking.
Yeah, it's like
and
it's
stuff.
just Frank Sinatra. Like they have an excuse to gamble and hang out for free. Oh, and by the way, they're just shooting this off in the distance with some cameras while we just fucking gamble. I wonder if some of those scenes were actually them just like hanging out at the casino.
I think so, because I know that there are like a bunch of like special guests that just appear as themselves that Danny Ocean knows. Like I don't know who any of the fuck these people are, but I know they're like famous people back in the day.
They were.
So they're like, oh yeah, just like come on set. Yeah, just play yourself. And we're just going to hang out and release a movie. And it's called Ocean's 11.
Yeah, the story behind the original Ocean's 11, at least the build up to the climax, is probably one of the worst of that era of filmmaking.
Like it was known as like a shitty movie, but that's like a cash grab. That's like a Mother's Day movie.
It is.
It's like come watch like Frank Sinatra hang out with his friends.
Yeah, I would assume that Frank Sinatra in when was this? The 50s?
I think it was 1960 is when it came out.
60. I feel like Frank Sinatra in the 60s is like a Channing Tatum movie today. Or like a Gerard Butler movie.
Yeah, I was gonna, but Gerard Butler doesn't have like a cool crew that he hangs out with.
Who does?
Like,
who does?
That's
nowadays?
what I'm thinking. Like, who has like a crew that could just make a movie? Honestly, and I probably get hate for this. It's like Entourage. Like they're not acting.
Yeah.
They're just fucking around the entire time.
Love.
I would say
Entourage.
I would say Ocean's 11, 1960 Ocean's 11 has more in common with the Entourage movie than with Ocean's 11.
Yeah, that actually makes perfect sense.
Because think about it. It just has a bunch of like random stars that are just partying with them that appear as themselves because they were probably just like, oh yeah, come on, come in the movie or whatever. Like, yeah, you're here, whatever.
Let's see who's in town this week. Oh yeah, Sammy Davis Jr. All right, yeah, let's get him in the movie.
Exactly, and then they get a starring credit. So, yeah, I mean, but it's not. I'm not even talking about the movie. Like, as far as the character, George Clooney, he's got a con man vibe throughout the entire movie. He's suave, but he's not really playing George Clooney. Although I'm sure someone would argue, but like when I think of George Clooney playing himself, I think of like George Clooney playing Bruce Wayne in Batman and Robin.
Yeah, or Up in the Air, or like pretty much any other George Clooney movie, you could say that. But this one is done very well. I don't look at it and I'm like, oh, that's George Clooney being George Clooney.
Oh, that's Danny Ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also, I think George Clooney probably is more synonymous with that role than Frank Sinatra is. Like if I mean, again, it's age, but if I went up to someone and said Danny Ocean, they'd probably be like, why are you just saying a random name to me? One. But I think most people would think like, oh yeah, George Clooney.
They might not even know that there's a original movie.
Yeah. I mean, granted, the movie's made like 40 years later.
Yeah.
Like the remake is like it's 40 years later. I think it came out in 2001. So
that's like that's like the perfect amount of time for a generation to die off and then remake a movie.
Yeah. Because everyone knows Frank Sinatra is the guy who like sings songs, not really acts.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else he was. I know he was in a lot of movies.
Yeah, I have no idea what Frank Sinatra is in. I just know he was in this and it's terrible.
It is terrible. And I'm not a fan of him as a singer in general.
Well, they all kind of sound the same.
That's true.
I mean, it's hard to like not sound like Michael Bublé sounds like Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
And I'm ashamed to know that I'm ashamed to say that I know that.
Usually when I hear a song from that time period, I'm like, oh, that's that one.
That's Frank Sinatra.
That's
basically
that one
every
white
single
guy.
one of those. Is
because
Frank.
that you always say like that's that one white guy because you know what Sammy Davis Jr. and Nat King Cole sound like, but you don't know what any like you can't put a voice to the face of any of the white people from the 50s.
That day. Yeah, agreed. Well, there's like those like those. I don't know if I would call it like it's not really blues because blues is like a whole different. It's like that. You know what I think of is like the black band from Back to the Future, the one that's playing Marvin Berry.
Yeah.
It's like it's Chuck Berry's like cousin or whatever, Marvin Berry, and his like band. Like they all like kind of like sound the same. Like they all sound good, but like I couldn't ever put like I'm like oh yeah that's Marvin Berry. Like I don't. That's just who is like my default, and then my default for white people is Frank Sinatra. So
yeah,
like
exactly.
for the longest time, I thought like every Dean Martin song, like the Vegas one, the da 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 da.
Yeah,
I thought that was Frank Sinatra. Didn't know Dean Martin sounds exactly the same, and that's like his friend. So
yeah, they do sound exactly alike. I didn't even know. I actually thought that was a Frank Sinatra song
So
until you just told me.
yeah, there you go. Final thoughts. Clooney's Danny Ocean. Frank Sinatra's Frank Sinatra. That's what I have to say about Danny Ocean. Danny Ocean or George Clooney is Danny Ocean. Frank Sinatra is that one white guy.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, so who do you have?
Mine also has a little gap in between being made, so I guess it's generationally. So you're gonna like either the new or you're gonna like the old, and
Okay.
it's the Bad News Bears.
Okay,
And I'm talking about the head coach, Coach Buttermaker. So the movie,
I can't believe that was actually his name. I
Yeah.
knew who you were talking about, but I'm like, is that the Bad News Bears guy? Is that really his fucking name?
yeah. When I was typing it and I was telling you this is who I'm gonna do, I typed it and I was like, no, that's not it, is it? And I had to look it up because I didn't want to look like an idiot. I didn't know if it was like Boilermaker. Buttermaker.
He went to Purdue.
Yeah. Like, what is his name? So yeah, Buttermaker. That was played by Walter Matthau, and he was in like a ton of shit in the early '80s, and then like did nothing else. But this is like his biggest role. I
Yeah,
would say.
he's like known for being him.
Yeah, and he's like in the movie he's like a drunk idiot who like doesn't give a fuck about any of the kids.
Yeah.
It's basically like the Mighty Ducks, where Emilio Estevez gets like thrown into it and he doesn't give a shit.
Right.
He's just there to like, you know, fulfill
Get
his
his
community
paycheck.
service. It's like the same
Yeah.
thing. Doesn't give a shit. And the new movie, which was made in 2005, is with Billy Bob Thornton. And
Which I was gonna say, I'm like, you're really describing what like Billy Bob Thornton is in basically every movie ever.
It really is, but when I look at the two movies side by side, to me, my Coach Buttermaker is Walter Matthau. It's not Billy Bob Thornton.
Okay.
Because I feel like, going back to the Danny Ocean thing, I feel like Billy Bob Thornton was just playing himself.
Which is the bad. He actually doesn't like. I remember the first season of Fargo. He was great in it, and he did not play himself at all. Like when he doesn't play himself, it's great. But when he plays like the Billy Bob Thornton, like I wouldn't even say that's himself because that's like a stretch to say the man's like a drunken fucking like dickhead. But like when he plays the Billy Bob Thornton character, it's just like all right, like it's funny, but it's played out.
Yeah, it's like the Bad Santa thing. I feel like his Buttermaker was exactly like the Bad Santa character, just not as much of a dick because there were kids involved.
Well, there was a kid involved.
There
in
was
Bad
one
Santa.
kid, but there was several kids in Bad News Bears.
That's true.
So, I mean, easily for me, that's the movie that I remember Walter Matthau from. The movie that I remember Billy Bob Thornton from is Sling Blade, and that's not a good correlation.
By the way, every time you said Walter Matthau, I was thinking Martin Landau.
That's like the same era. It's like the old white guy actors.
Yeah. Come on. The Pinocchio movie with Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Martin Landau as Geppetto.
Whatever happened to Jonathan Taylor Thomas? I think he went to Harvard and then never acted again.
I mean, that's a smart move because he was not good. So clearly Harvard made sense.
He was a heartthrob, though. He's a 90s heartthrob.
Yeah, but so was what the fuck is his name? What's Nick Carter's brother?
Aaron Carter.
That guy.
Yes.
That guy is a straight. Oh well,
He's like
you know,
he looks like I'm not going to say
he uses, but he looks like he
this
does.
drug, but he looks like a fucking meth addict.
He does. Yeah. So your coach.
What were we talking about? Okay.
Bad News Bears. Bad News Bears.
So what are your thoughts? Who is your Buttermaker and what are your thoughts on each one of them?
So I'm going to be honest. I never really watched Bad News Bears in its entirety, either of them. And anytime I think of Bad News Bears, I know there's an older one, but I can't like put a face. I just think like in my head, it's just a generic old man that's just grumpy. But then that's kind of like Billy Bob Thornton now. So now I'm thinking Buttermaker is based on Billy Bob Thornton. So I can say that like I agree with you. Yeah, like the other guy is better because he's like playing Billy Bob Thornton, where Billy Bob Thornton is Billy Bob Thornton. So it's not really impressive when you're just playing yourself.
That's
I don't know if
true.
that logic made sense.
that might have been the most logical thing on all of Wicked Hot so far.
Okay. Like it's easy to play yourself, you know? It's not hard.
It is, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm also going to cover someone that is mean, but in a very like very bad way. And it's Hannibal Lecter. So Hannibal Lecter is played by. Actually, I threw in 3 actors here only because I wanted to at least give a little nod. It's played by Brian Cox, Anthony Hopkins, and Mads Mikkelsen. I'm prepared to get a lot of hate for this, but just so we can get out of the way, my best pick for Hannibal Lecter is Mads Mikkelsen.
Nope.
From the TV show
No.
Hannibal.
No, that's right.
I will say the TV show itself, especially Will Graham, is subpar, but we're not talking about the show. Mads Mikkelsen absolutely kills it as Hannibal. I did want to give a quick shout out to Brian Cox for being the first to portray Hannibal. He was in Hannibal. He was Hannibal in Manhunter, which was in 1986. It was what Red Dragon was a remake of, which is a fun fact.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yep. It's the same story. Will Graham going after the Tooth Fairy, Francis Dolarhyde, goes to ask Hannibal for help. And literally there are like legitimate scenes that are just copied. Like the part where he gets the phone and he like calls, and like literally every line where he's like, I just need you to swipe your finger down to that Rolodex to the letter G and tell me what it is. Like it was the exact same.
Oh,
I was
man.
watching it like side by
hate
side.
when
I
they
was like,
do that.
holy crap.
I watched a British show recently that had an awesome episode, and then the American one was like a exact line for line copy of it, and I could not watch it.
Yeah, that sucks. But yeah, speaking of watching, I tried watching the clips, and it feels like a casting director talking for both roles. Like, no offense to the actors, but like Will Graham was painful to listen to. It sounded like a casting director, just like monotone, reading off lines to someone that's trying to like actually like work their ass off.
Was he the one in Red Dragon?
What do you mean?
Who was the
who?
actor in Red Dragon?
Ed Norton was Will Graham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ed Norton was Will Graham. Ray Fiennes was Francis Dolarhyde, and obviously Anthony Hopkins was Hannibal.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously, before I get to Matt Mikkelsen, I just mentioned shout out for Anthony Hopkins, Hannibal. Guy's fantastic at the role, and I think it's like what most people would think as Hannibal is obviously Anthony Hopkins, and I do too. But as far as best, and I'm going to give some facts to back it up. As for why I'm going Mads Mikkelsen, he really gets the chance on the show to flesh out his character. His obsession with helping Will Graham find his killers, plus like Will Graham like essentially like hunting Hannibal, and he like gets off on it. He gets off on like psychoanalyzing Will. Like all their relationship just makes so much more sense, where we just see in like Red Dragon, they already know each other. And then obviously, you know, Will Graham finally like figures out that he's Hannibal.
I will agree with that. The show definitely flushes out the character more. If you go back to like Silence of the Lamb, like pretty much anyone where he's not like the main guy, his characterization or his development is like really not great.
Yeah, because it's just like he's already
established. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an already established killer. It's almost like even with Silence of the Lambs, because obviously the books were out, but it was already like established. Like as a viewer watching Silence of the Lambs for the first time, I already need to know like this guy's like bad news and he's already like a psycho badass killer.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I knew him when he's like sympathetic, because in the show he's still very like creepy, but at the same time he's like a bit charming. He does get the opportunity to just kind of flex his psychological and intellectual prowess, and he's also a badass fighter, which, let's face it, is way more believable for Mads playing the character than Anthony Hopkins as far as fighting is concerned.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he can fight at all.
Yeah, like Mads Mikkelsen, there's a scene, like a fight scene between Mads Mikkelsen and Lawrence Fishburne in the show that is fucking like, it's like dirty. It's like raw.
Damn.
And it just shows like, not only is he like super smart, but he's also pretty deadly when it comes to fighting. But the one thing, and I think this is what Mads Mikkelsen captures perfectly, and the show captures perfectly, in regards to the killing, Hannibal enjoys it, but the one thing that he's always been known for is his character's obsession for cooking and enjoying food, aka his victims, and even like other food too. Well, I mean, I've never wanted to eat human flesh more than watching this guy cook. The scenes in which he like meticulously concocts some eerily delicious meals makes me both terrified and super hungry, which is a little fucked up. But, you know, that's Hannibal, man. Like, the shit that he just comes up with, like, there's so many scenes where he's just, like, making a amazing gourmet, like, gourmet as fuck meal. And you know it's gourmet when a guy is cooking in a dress shirt. Like,
Yeah.
that's about as gourmet as it gets. Like, anyone else is, like, throwing on the hoodie, like, some sweatpants. He's over here in, like, dressed to the nines with an apron and, like, a dress shirt.
Oh, yeah. And I understand what you're talking about with the... you see the human flesh and you just want it. That happens to me with like tomatoes and shit. Like I'll see it in a commercial and I'll be like, damn, I hate tomatoes. I'm like,
Okay, I was like, what? I'm like, what's wrong with
that?
I want tomatoes all the time.
that's disgusting. But yeah, I'll see a tomato and be like, damn, that tomato looks good. And yeah, when the few episodes of Hannibal that I've seen, or the TV show, it looks delicious.
Yeah,
It doesn't make me want to eat it. Like I won't go out and eat it, but damn, it looks delicious.
like it's seriously. Anytime I see it, it like makes me contemplate. I'm like, I don't know.
I could
like
do it. I could do it.
that meal though. Like jail's on the line, but that meal though may be worth it.
What about No Consequences? Do you try the human?
Do I try human flesh?
Yeah.
This is gonna make me sound like a psychopath, but honestly, probably I'd be curious.
I think I would too. Yeah.
Like, who wouldn't be curious?
Everyone, even if you say you wouldn't try it, you would.
How about this? What if you ate it, didn't know what it was, and someone's like, "That's human flesh"? One, would you believe them? Two, if you did, what would you do?
I would. Are we talking no consequences here?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the person would still judge you as like a motherfucker. Although your first judgment would be like, why did you serve me human flesh? Like, who are you to judge me for eating it?
I would make them show me where they got it from, because I wouldn't believe until I saw them like cutting it off of a leg, like a severed leg, and just like.
Well,
throwing
yeah.
it
What
on
if
the
it was
grill.
like a severed leg? What if you want to see that severed leg?
I'd rather.
I don't even
know.
want to see like a dead cow in the back. Like if they told me like I just executed a cow for being able to eat the steak, I'm like, well, fuck. That really puts a damper on my
This
mood.
cow had a family.
Yeah. If I had human flesh and Hannah was like, oh, here, let me show you the leg. I'm like, damn. Like, look at those feet, though. Like,
But I think with human, well, you're never at a steakhouse eating a steak, and you're like, this is not a steak. I need you to fucking prove this to me right now. If you're eating human flesh, you're like, okay, I want some proof that I actually just ate human flesh. That's when I want
Yes.
to see the body or the extremity that they cut this off of.
Okay. So, but if I told you it was human flesh, like, what would your reaction be?
It'd probably be like, fuck, I'm gonna get in so much trouble.
It was so good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you then start getting the craving and it's over.
Yeah, like Book of Eli.
Yeah, but yeah. So thoughts on Mads Mikkelsen? I mean, the guy makes other people like. There's one scene where he makes a guy eat his own thigh willingly, and says it was good. So I mean, it's hard for me to like not like him because of the cooking aspect of his character. Because if
So
it's
you
one thing
wanted you wanted Anthony Hopkins, but with a little like Tyler Florence mixed into it.
yes, yeah, I would say so.
All right, no, that's acceptable.
So you told me I was wrong the minute I said Mads Mikkelsen. Why?
Well, I'm going off of just like if I think of a character, who do I think of? I'm not going off of like who played it better or who did the character more justice. I'm thinking like who is Hannibal Lecter, and it's Anthony Hopkins, hands down.
Okay, fine. But I said who did it better, and I think based on what I said, I think I got a pretty strong argument.
I would agree. I would agree to disagree because I Anthony Hopkins is Hannibal Lecter, but I do think that you had a really good point.
Yeah. I mean, you could just win me with food, man. I'm sure if you made like the worst killers just being fucking fancy chefs, I'm like, you know what? Killing isn't that bad.
Yeah, he's not such a bad guy.
He's eating good. He's eating good. He's cooking for his dinner guests. It looks good.
Yeah.
All right. So who do you got for me, man?
So mine, as you know, I've been watching the Marvel series. I'm fucking 18 movies deep, and I'm going back to one of the first ones, and it's the Incredible Hulk.
Not Hulk.
No. Well, yes, Hulk as well. So
wait, the Ang Lee Hulk?
Yes.
Oh God.
It's a character from both of these movies. So the way that they made the Incredible Hulk, that's the Ed Norton one, they made it to kind of be a reboot, but also it has sequel elements in it as well.
To the Ang Lee Hulk?
Yeah. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So at one point in the Edward Norton one, when Ross is in the helicopter, he says that the Hulk has killed 9 people before. He was talking about the people that he killed in the Hulk.
You mean in Hulk?
Yeah, Hulk, the Hulk movie.
No, it's just called Hulk.
Yeah, Hulk.
Wait, but he kills people in that movie?
Yeah.
I need like a rap.
You need
sheet
a
for
victim
the Hulk.
list?
I need the Hulk's rap sheet. That's what I need. 10 counts of homicide or 9 counts of homicide. Fucking a million counts of vandalism and destruction of public property.
The Avengers are probably, like, I would say have more destruction than the actual villains that they're fighting against.
Yeah.
Like money.
Well, that's the whole thing of the Civil War movie. It's like they
destroyed the entire city.
Yeah. My favorite line for it is when Robert Downey Jr. says he's like, this is this kid. He went on summer vacation to help people in Sokovia. But what happened? Well, we dropped a building on him while we were out there kicking ass.
Yeah.
Like I love that. Like that was like
Yeah,
man.
that was pretty fresh in my mind because we watched that not too long ago.
I actually
Civil War
watched
is
it 2 days ago.
definitely one of the better Marvel movies.
I think it's better than any of the Avengers movies thus far.
Maybe we'll get into that later.
Okay. All right. So continue with your Hulks.
Okay.
Your Hulk
So
shit.
my character with Hulk, I didn't want to go with Edward Norton versus Eric Bana. I wanted to go
versus Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo. I wanted to go with the love interest, I guess, Betty Ross, because I feel like
Okay.
this one. First of all, I've already talked about Edward Norton in the Hulk before, or the Incredible Hulk. Didn't want to bring it up again, but I feel like this is an interesting choice because they're very different. Liv Tyler, I fucking hate her. I think she is an awful actress. So
Even Lord of the Rings.
yeah, I think she's awful. Like
Okay.
anyone,
All right. I mean,
anyone could have played that role in Lord of the Rings and it been as good as she did.
I don't know if I agree with that, but continue.
Like, what about Natalie Portman? She could have done it. Probably
Yeah.
better. Anybody could have.
I mean, I guess anyone could have. Yeah, all right, fine.
Yeah. So there you go. So the original one, Hulk in 2003, the Eric Bana Hulk, was Jennifer Connelly. Jennifer Connelly was Betty Ross. Sam Elliott was Ross, which actually I like Sam Elliott better than I like the current
William
Ross.
Hurt?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's way better.
Who was I keep thinking you're saying Betsy Ross, like the
No, Betty Ross.
Betty Ross. Okay, Betty Ross.
So when I think of Betty Ross or the person that I want to come back, so this is like in the future, I know they're going to have a fucking cameo of this character, and I'm hoping that they get the Jennifer Connelly character and actor to play Betty Ross. I don't know how
There's
that's going to work.
no chance.
I don't know
There's
how that's
no
gonna work.
chance in hell.
I just hate Liv Tyler. I think she's the worst actress.
The worst? Like, you telling me you can't think of anyone worse?
Actress, like female?
If you say no, you're not thinking. You're not thinking
Maybe
clearly.
Jennifer Garner is worse.
That's not who I was expecting. God,
Do you disagree though?
that Jennifer Garner's worse
Yeah. Then Liv
than
Tyler?
Liv Tyler?
Yeah.
I think they're probably equal, honestly. But I don't
Okay.
think they're like awful. Like, you're making it seem like she's like the girl from The Room.
Lisa?
Yeah, Lisa. Oh, you look so sexy, Lisa.
No, Liv Tyler is the worst actress that I can think of at the moment.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that they like supersede the Incredible Hulk, get Jennifer Connelly's Betty Ross to be in the cameos for the next Avengers or whatever she's going to be in. Because you know she's going to be back.
I don't know. They kind of replaced her with Black Widow.
Not, well,
And
like,
can anyone beat Scarlett Johansson, honestly?
not really, but you think that character Betty Ross is going to come back at some point. Because it did show William Hurt in, I think, the last...
In Civil
in
War.
Civil War, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So the continuity-wise, they did keep the people from Incredible Hulk. But Ross is a bad guy.
Is he a bad guy?
He becomes Red Hulk.
Does he? Fucking
I
A.
think so.
Fucking Red Hulk, Green Hulk, Blue Hulk.
It's a Dr. Seuss book. That's like a Dr. Seuss MCU book. Red Hulk, Green Hulk, Blue Hulk, 3 Hulk. Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that Jennifer Connelly, Mark Ruffalo.
Well, you
Hook up.
keep hoping, because that movie is fucking terrible. That Ang Lee Hulk is garbage.
I will say
God.
that Jennifer Connelly and Sam Elliott are like the best part of that movie. Everyone else, the villain, awful movie.
Yeah, it's not good at all.
But Jennifer Connelly,
Wasn't
though,
back in the day?
yeah,
What year was that? 2003?
yep,
Damn. I'm good.
that is very good. That's a quick
Actually-
reboot.
2003
2003
when was the
to
last
2008.
2008?
Yeah,
Fuck. I thought it was like 2010.
I wonder if
And even still, that's like way too soon.
I wonder if they were making this movie before they had like the idea for
The MCU.
the MCU, and they were like, "Fuck."
What was Iron Man had the idea of the MCU? I thought Iron Man was just like Iron Man. That's it.
No, it was the first one because there's an end credit scene with Nick Fury
Oh, and he's like, hey.
where he goes to
Avengers.
get the hammer, Thor's hammer,
Oh,
or
right.
sends Coulson to get the hammer.
Right. All right. So my next one, it's like we can't get away from certain things. Like my next one's a comic book character as well. We're keeping it as not fresh as possible. So my next character is Catwoman. I put here played by Michelle Pfeiffer and Anne Hathaway, but
You
I
left
never
out Halle
reali-
Berry.
God, no. I never want to talk about that Halle Berry movie ever. I never realized how many people played Catwoman, but I figured I'd narrow it down to what I think most people would consider the best actors to play the character. Because Halle Berry is not amongst those.
Yeah, if it was between
Or-
Michelle Pfeiffer and Halle Berry, it'd be an easy pick there.
Honestly, I even think my pick is an easy pick. And without a doubt, not even close, it's Michelle Pfeiffer.
100%.
Yeah. Again, I don't know if it's just my nostalgia for Batman Returns is helping in this decision, but despite how dated it feels, Pfeiffer's performance as Catwoman far, far, far outshines Anne Hathaway's.
And that they actually called her Catwoman. In Dark Knight Rises,
He's just called Selena.
they never call her Catwoman. And that's something that superhero movies in general need to start doing. Because I want to know the fucking villain's name. They never are like, oh, that's fucking Thunderbolt. That's this guy. It's always like, that's the villain of this movie.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to know their name. If I didn't know that there was a Catwoman before, I wouldn't have known.
Who is
that-
she supposed to be
yeah,
playing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Do they call Bane in that movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like his name.
Oh, well, I guess that's yeah. I guess it was just Catwoman because they call the Joker the Joker. They're like, man, that clown guy, he does jokes and he carries around those cards. I don't know. We should call him something, but I can't. It's on the tip of my tongue. I just don't know what to call him.
Why didn't they just call him Clown?
The Russian guy called him the clown. He was like, let the clown speak. I don't know what that accent was, though. I don't know what that was. But anyway, so I think it's interesting because I wouldn't say that Michelle Pfeiffer played the character the way it is in the comic. But we also know that Batman Returns isn't really a comic book movie as compared to being a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah. It's more of a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, it's not really a comic book movie. But I prefer Pfeiffer's take on Selena Kyle, Catwoman. Kind of a shy girl who doesn't really stand up for herself, is basically killed in a way, and she's kind of like a pushover. And she comes back as Catwoman. She's insane, but she is having a shit ton of fun doing it. She has no loyalties to any men, Penguin or Batman, and kind of just does shit on her own. She doesn't fall in love with anybody, and ultimately is just out for revenge against Christopher Walken.
Yeah. She don't need no man.
And like Anne Hathaway, like she's like, I like Bruce Wayne and I like Batman, and we retired to Italy together. Like Michelle Pfeiffer is not retiring to nowhere with nobody.
That's what I really didn't like about The Dark Knight Rises Catwoman or Selena Kyle. It was like she was only there to be the love interest.
Yeah, basically.
And also have like this other character that's like a well-known Batman villain.
Yeah. I will say one of my favorite scenes for Michelle Pfeiffer as the character is when she eventually introduces herself to Batman and the Penguin. She completely trashes that department store, ends up blowing it up. But before doing that, she does a million backflips and says,
She does.
and says meow before having a monstrous explosion happen behind her, which she is not phased by. That's a fucking entrance.
That is an entrance.
Like, we don't get any of that from Anne Hathaway. That's why it's like Michelle Pfeiffer's just easily. There's no question.
The only thing that Anne Hathaway does is drive the batter cycle. The batter cycle.
Does she drive? Oh, I thought she steals his car too, remember?
I think she does steal his car, but that's like the only thing she does to help anything is drive. I keep calling it the batter cycle. I don't know what it's called.
The batter cycle. Yeah, so I think Anne Hathaway, like Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman was a stranger to theatrics. Anne Hathaway's was. I'm not saying I didn't like her because I did. I'll give her credit for portraying Catwoman the way she is in the comics. Thief who blends in, screws over everyone just to get the take. But when you compare it to how crazy Michelle Pfeiffer played it, it just looked like she was playing it safe. And it also like, and I also understand like she can't play like a Michelle Pfeiffer like character. One, because you have the Jared Leto syndrome where you're just copying,
Yeah.
and then also it just doesn't fit with the Dark Knight Rises. Like the theme, like she's just like this crazy like person. Imagine a Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman in the Dark Knight Rises.
That would be a really awkward movie.
I kind of would want to see it though.
Yeah. I really like, my favorite thing about Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman is like, as the movie progresses, her suit gets like more and more like torn and stitched up.
Yeah.
I love that it's so like, it's such a messy version of the character, and the Anne Hathaway one is like really calculated, like everything's
Suave.
very clean. Yeah, it's like, I like Michelle Pfeiffer's rendition of it because it's like such a mess.
Yeah. Well, because she's basically a mess from like when she gets like pushed out the window from
Yeah.
to the end of the movie.
Yeah. That's why, yeah, I like Michelle Pfeiffer's way better.
I also think she was like a legit villain. I think she was more of a villain than the Penguin was. Because I feel like the Penguin was just like a victim of his own circumstance. Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman was, I mean, and Christopher Walken's character, because he was probably the bad guy in the movie.
It's like the 1A.
Yeah, 1A. I think Catwoman was pretty evil.
Yeah, definitely the 1B.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in Dark Knight Rises, she just like steals a watch or something and then steals his car. And then they fuck. It's like,
Wait, do they?
I mean, it doesn't show it, but I would assume that they had fucked.
Okay, because I'm thinking the Marion Cotillard.
Oh, you know they fucked. They fucked in the bomb shelter
they showed
or whatever.
The bomb shelter.
What was that? Like the underground thing?
No, I thought it was like they were in like front of the fireplace or something. Remember?
Yeah, and like when he turns over their company or whatever, they're in like this fucking bunker.
I didn't know that happened in there too. I didn't know that.
Oh, I'm just assuming they were alone in a room. They would have fucked.
Okay. Yeah, so final thoughts on Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman versus Anne Hathaway's.
Anne Hathaway's Catwoman could have just been a different character and not been Catwoman.
Yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer's is like, that's Catwoman.
Yeah.
Even though it's not, like, as you say, I'm not a comic book reader, but it's not on point with how the comic books are. But it's on point with the Tim Burton style, I guess.
It's on point with the Tim Burton style for sure. And you know, it's funny because when I was looking at that clip of her destroying the department store, the first scene is during the riot with like the circus freaks. And it was always that fucking scene where Batman just murders someone with the guy who just gets punched and he's like, try that again. And then he realizes he's got like 17 sticks of dynamite on him. Batman smiles and throws him in a gutter and he explodes.
That much dynamite would level an entire block in New York City.
Yeah, it was like a huge stick of dynamite.
And that would be like nowadays, that would be like a terrorist thing. Like,
yeah.
Batman or Bruce Wayne would be in Guantanamo Bay right now.
Yeah, and come to think of it, where the fuck did he get that dynamite? Because that guy definitely didn't have it on him.
I thought he got it from the Penguin's lair. Like, wasn't he in there and he stole it or something?
No, that's not even that part of the movie yet. Was he just walking around with like
He's just walking around with 17 sticks of dynamite?
He's like, we're going to blow someone the fuck up tonight.
I've had a bad day. I'm going to bring the fucking dynamite. I'm going to bring all of it. You know what, Alfred? I'm going to bring all the fucking dynamite. I'm going to blow somebody up tonight.
Had it with these goddamn clowns. All right. Well, who's your next pick?
My next one is probably one of the only horror movies that stands up from this time period. In my opinion, I know I'm going to get shit for that, and it's Carrie. Probably one of the best horror movies from that era of horror, the 70s.
Okay.
So this was 1976. The remake, there was actually a sequel to that, but I'm not even going to bring that up.
Okay. Was it also with what's her name?
Sissy Spacek? No.
Okay.
This was the second one was The Rage 2. The Rage Carrie 2. Carrie 2 The Rage.
What?
Something?
Carrie 2 Cruise Control?
Yeah. It was I think it was like 1998 or something. Or 2000.
Damn. That's basically a reboot then.
It was.
76 to 2000? What?
I wonder why they even called it Carrie 2. She was called Carrie, but there's no correlation, I think, with the movies.
Okay.
But this one I'm talking about is Carrie, the actual remake from 2013 with Chloe Grace Moretz.
Oh, yes. I saw that.
You did see that. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
So have you seen the original?
I have not seen the original, but I know of it. I knew that the one with Chloe Grace Moretz, which I like. I'm a fan of her. I think she's good.
She is good.
That movie, though.
That was... Well, I'll get to it later.
Okay.
But from what I found out, I knew this was a book. I didn't know it was a Stephen King book. I probably should have guessed because it was a horror book from the 70s.
What?
I didn't know it was a Stephen King book.
Yeah, I guess I'm not that surprised, but I didn't know that. Yeah.
Did you know it was a book?
I knew it was a book. Yeah.
Okay.
I knew it was a book. Yeah.
Okay. So the original one is Sissy Spacek as Carrie, and the original one is like way darker, and they definitely pick on her, I think, a lot more in the original one.
Yeah, because
she like she
I was
goes
gonna say,
crazy.
doesn't she just get her period and like Ray Winstone comes in like, what are you on your period or something? Get her some fucking cranberry juice.
And then she just starts killing everybody.
Yeah. She's like, fuck cranberry juice.
But no, this one I think. Well, they still do.
They do make fun of her for
thing.
being on her period, right?
They do, yes.
Even though they're all like 16 and 17-year-old girls.
Yeah. Which does that even happen? I've never been a 17-year-old girl, but does that actually happen?
Yeah, like haha, you're on your period, and then like throwing. Did they throw tampons at her?
I think they do.
Like
they do. Like they
were
never.
like used weren't they like used tampons?
No, I thought they were from the like candy thing, like, you know. What the fuck? Like the little vending machine thing.
Oh, the dispenser, like in the bathroom.
Yeah, dispenser. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely
Okay.
threw tampons at her.
Okay, so Carrie, much darker back in the day.
Definitely much darker, and I think like with Chloe Grace Moretz, she was playing the version. She did like the exact same thing that Sissy Spacek did in her Carrie. So she was just like mimicking what she had seen in the previous movie. So it wasn't like her own take on it, which I feel like with your Hannibal Lecter, like they all had their own kind of stamp on the role.
Yeah.
With this one, it was like a complete remake. Wasn't word for word, but it was like every nuance of that character was the exact same. So
Yeah, but with Hannibal Lecter, I think you have a little more range because you're like a killer. With her, she's like got a mom that like beats her and locks her up and then is like tortured at school. Like, I don't know. How does she play that off? She's like, this is a great day.
Yeah.
I have my period and people are throwing tampons at me and my mom is going to lock me in a closet when I get home.
yeah. You do pose a good point, but
Yeah, but I'm sorry, not to derail your argument here.
but still, like it's she's the same way. Like you could be different kind of fucked up.
Right.
Like if you're gonna play a fucked up person, it doesn't have to be the quiet, like shy person that Sissy Spacek played. It could be like an angry person. Like it could be any other way. But it seemed like she was copying what was done in the 70s movie.
Yeah. But again, it's a remake horror movie. I don't think they were going for like a huge new take. I think they were just trying to re-release it to the people that hadn't seen it yet, you know?
Yeah, with a modern day
Right.
twist.
Correct. Yeah, that movie's not good. She's fine in it.
Yeah, she did the best she could. I'll put it that way. She did the best
Yeah.
she could.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't really know if I had because like I never saw the Sissy what is it, SpaceX?
Yeah.
SpaceX.
SpaceX.
Elon
Sissy
Musk.
SpaceX.
Shit, he's in everything. God. So yeah, I never saw that, but I do know that it did look like it was like scene for scene construct, especially the end where she gets the blood on her.
Yeah. And I think the original one, her mom beats her with a wire hanger, which was pretty intense to watch. I know that's not the remake.
Wasn't her mom like a crazy like Jesus freak?
Yes.
Was that also in the?
It was in the original, but I don't remember it being as hardcore as the remake, like Julianne Moore.
Yeah, Julianne Moore was a fucking psycho. God.
Yeah. I don't think it was that bad. I know she was religious, but I don't remember it being that
She
bad.
had powers, correct?
Carrie? Yeah.
Like, what were her powers? Telekinesis?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Maybe-
I never. What? No.
Well, just going back to last week, maybe she's a wizard.
Oh, she could be a wizard.
And she doesn't know it.
Yeah.
She's getting that
So
letter
you think
from
all the
Hogwarts.
asshole kids were like actual wizards? They were trying to screw her over?
Maybe that was the wizard SWAT team.
Yeah, maybe. the team, the A team.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You really had to listen to last week's episode to get that reference.
Yeah. So, so my next one here, I have probably the weakest to then becoming like the baddest bitch ever. And that's Sarah Connor.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah Connor, played by Linda Hamilton, Lena Headey, and Amelia
Oh, my
Clark.
God. She did play that role.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to, this is like one of those, like the three things where it's like, I want to give a shout out to Lena Headey because I actually did watch the Terminator show, which from my recollection was good. I think she was good in it because it's Lena Headey and she's badass in general. As like a human being, she's badass. But I'm going to do it between probably the two people that people know the most for, and that's Linda Hamilton, which obviously was the original Sarah Connor in both Terminator and Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and then Amelia Clark, who we all know as Daenerys in
Say
Game
the full
of Thrones.
name. Say the full name.
Daenerys Targaryen,
No, I want the whole fucking name.
Mother of Dragons, Queen of the Andals and the First Men.
Like Breaker of Chains is in there.
Breaker of Chains, the
Unburnt.
Unburnt. I think that's it, right?
No, I think there's more, but I don't remember.
Queen of the Andals and the First Men, first of her name, the Unburnt, the Breaker of Chains. And the Khaleesi.
Khaleesi, yeah,
of the
that's in there
great
somewhere.
of the Great Grass Sea or something like that. So Amelia Clark, as we know as that character, plays Sarah Connor in Terminator Genesis. So obvious, it's Linda Hamilton.
Yeah,
But I will say, it's Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Because
Yes.
in Terminator, she really sucks. And honestly, of
Yeah.
all the humans, like most people, I feel like most people feel this way, but Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 1, like you want him to win. Like you sneakily like
really?
want- Yeah, I kind of was like, these people really suck and they need to die.
So you were hoping that the machines won?
Correct.
Wow.
But had I not known about Terminator 2, if I knew about Terminator 2, then I would want him to lose because then he becomes a good Terminator.
Are you an Empire sympathizer?
1,000% yes.
Okay, so I think it's a fact here that you root for the villains.
I root for most villains. I wouldn't say I root for like Hans Landa and Inglourious Bastards. Or for any Nazi for that matter. But yeah, I mean, I'll root for the Empire. I mean, the rebels suck. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of what they're preaching.
You're a fan. I'm a fan of the Resistance more than I am the First Order, because the First Order is more like Nazis.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton plays her, does the best stuff. I mean, she like doesn't really care. She's badass. She thinks her son is like kind of stupid, but like she's like, I got to do this because he's gonna be the leader of the free world. Well, that makes him sound like he's gonna be the president. He's gonna be the leader of like the resistance against the machines. And then she also plays crazy good. Like in Terminator 2, like you don't know, like in the parts of it where she plays, like I'm feel like I'm going a little nuts.
Yeah, especially the parts where they're breaking her out of the mental institution.
The most terrifying scene ever, by the way.
Yeah, I every time I watch that, I'm on the edge of my seat. Like my heart is racing. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like it's an intense scene, and she plays it so well.
She does. I mean, one of my favorite scenes is when she like gets to lock that door when everyone's like chasing her.
Yeah,
like she just locks, and you're like, "Whew, man!" She just got away, and she's like kind of jogging, running, like looking back behind her, and then the elevator opens, and Arnold just comes out by himself, and she just like collapses.
That
like
was
you could see like she had like raw fear, like she's like, "It's over, I'm dead," and he just like walks up to her, and he's just like, "Come with me if you want to live."
Yeah, honestly, one of the best reaction shots like in history, like cinema history.
The slow motion too.
Yeah,
is like
it really sells it, and like that's I agree. Linda Hamilton is Sarah Connor.
Yeah,
Kills
Amelia
it.
Clarke, and I think this is the other problem. Like she just like with Chloe Grace Moretz tried to be like Linda Hamilton, but I feel like it was like Linda Hamilton as like a superhero. Amelia Clarke didn't fear anything. In Terminator 2, we see Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor, afraid, crazy, all these different emotions, badass, when she like basically becomes like a ruthless killer with like no qualms when she goes she shoots up Miles Dyson's house.
Yeah.
Where she like goes straight up assassin mode and like breaks in there and is about to kill him, and then she can't.
Yeah.
Like, there's no vulnerability within Amelia Clarke's Sarah Connor. It's just like, and again, it's probably because the movie is dog shit. But I mean, I feel like you could kind of have some sort of leeway and be better. You know, just be like, oh, I'm doing like a Linda Hamilton impersonation when she's only badass and nothing else.
Yeah, she kind of rode the wave of Linda Hamilton coming from being like a scared little bitch to like this fucking badass woman, and then it's over, and now Amelia Clarke is like riding the wave of being the badass woman.
Right in the coattails of it, right?
Yeah, it's like you didn't earn that.
I know. Because at the end of Terminator 2, that's the last time we see Linda Hamilton.
Yeah.
Because like the next one, the Rise of the Machines one, like they kind of do like kind of a dick move when they're just like, yeah, my mom died. She just died.
Yeah.
Like there's just like no explanation. Which that's a god awful movie.
That is a jeez.
Terminator just has like a really they needed to stop it too. Like they won the war. It's over.
Yeah. Terminator 1 and 2 they could have stopped there, but I don't hate Terminator Salvation.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you don't hate Terminator Genesis.
No, I hate Terminator Genesis and Terminator 3. Terminator Salvation, though, I actually liked it.
I'm not a fan, but yeah. So the final thoughts on Amelia Clarke and Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor.
Linda Hamilton, 100% Sarah Connor. Amelia Clarke, Daenerys Targaryen. That's enough
stay
said.
in your lane. Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So who is your final pick?
My final pick is literally a no-brainer. If you have to think about this, you're an idiot. It's Quicksilver in X-Men.
Wait, the fact that it's Quicksilver, you have to think about?
No.
You're an idiot? Because I was thinking about it. I'm like, ooh. I wasn't thinking he was going to say that. I thought it was going to be like Harry Potter.
No, that wasn't like read my mind. No, it's
okay.
It's Evan Peters in the X-Men franchise, and then Aaron Johnson in half of Age of Ultron, I guess you could say.
Oh god.
But
yeah,
they're
it was
so.
bad.
This is, I guess, it's a good example of two actors playing the same character, completely opposites of how they would be.
At the same time, by the way.
Yeah.
Like mine and like the other ones we were talking, like this is with like gaps, like with reboots and stuff. This is like two movies that are concurrently, two franchises that are parallel right now.
At least in my opinion, Evan Peters is hands down the best Quicksilver.
I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. I kind of feel bad for him because it's not his fault. Evan Peters was the first one, and he was just too good.
Do you think that they killed off the Marvel Quicksilver because of Evan Peters?
Probably. They're like, we can't do it. Like, we're not going to get that awesome scene ever again. Like, we can't do the same thing.
Yeah, it's going to be... I wish that there was a crossover and Evan Peters was in the MCU as Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Because I
agree.
feel like he's wasted in the X-Men movies. I'm not a fan of the X-Men movies. The ones that he's in are okay.
You didn't like Days of Future Past?
I didn't like First Class very much. I liked Future Past.
Okay.
And I didn't see Apocalypse. Do you think that they killed off Aaron Johnson because of Evan Peters? And it was just such an easy character to kill off for the MCU, for them to be like, oh yeah, we killed somebody off. Here you go.
Yes. 100% yes.
For both of those?
For both of them. When you have him follow up someone that's already fucking awesome, it's hard for you to like keep pretending. And it's really just because they were both at the same time, because they're like, we're not going to have another character that has the same exact name that is also Quicksilver, that has his power, and they can't even introduce his father because his father's Magneto. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes. So,
So is Scarlet Witch actually his sister?
yes.
But
They're
they
both
don't
his
touch on
kids.
that in X-Men, do they? I don't think they ever do.
Yeah, they don't talk about Scarlet Witch ever. Because Scarlet Witch isn't really like, I don't know. I feel like Quicksilver is more of the X-Men. Scarlet Witch is more the MCU. Like more like in Marvel outside of X-Men than Quicksilver is.
Yeah, I was just curious if they're going to bring Scarlet Witch into the X-Men franchise somehow.
Oh, but no, I don't think so.
And then kill her off.
Kill her off. They're just like, oh, we already have a good. I think they have a good one for. I mean, we don't need a Scarlet Witch in the X-Men franchise, so I don't know.
Are they actually Russian? Or whatever
Yes.
they are?
Maximoff, yeah.
In the oh shit. So Evan Peters should be Russian.
He should be Russian, but he's not, and I prefer it that way. Also, if you remember in Age of Ultron, like they had fucking thick ass Russian accents, and now in Wanda Maximoff is just like Scarlet Witch is just like, I'm just a normal American girl. Like within a year of like speech therapy, I guess, like extreme speech therapy.
That was something that drove me crazy about Civil War, was her lack of Russian accent. Yeah, it infuriated me when she's talking to Vision and she has no, I'm like, where the fuck is her accent?
Do you have anything good to say about Aaron Taylor Johnson?
If there were no Evan Peters, I think he would be a good character. I think it would be, but it's ruined by Evan Peters.
I would disagree. I don't even think it's because of Evan Peters. I think he was boring as fuck, and I honestly still thought Scarlet. I thought both of them were really boring characters.
I do think, yes, I think that you're right, but
and until Civil War, like I didn't care about Scarlet Witch at all.
I don't even. I think they needed them in that movie because it was the whole Russian connection or whatever. And I think that Aaron Johnson didn't get his screen time because they they didn't want to try to overshadow or outdo the Evan Peters Quicksilver. So he was just like a whatever shitty character. But I think if they gave him something to build off of, it could have been a good character.
Okay. And I guess the only real evidence we have for Evan Peters is just the scene where he puts on the headphones and is just adjusting everything in Future Past.
Yeah. The best scene.
I mean, that's just like the best scene ever.
Yeah.
It's seriously one of my favorite scenes in a comic book movie. And it's Evan Peters. I mean, you and I have discussed this. He's the best.
Evan Peters needs more roles.
Now that we close things up, Kevin, I just have a quick question for you. What is the best version of a character? Old or young? And just think off the fly, like old versions of characters that you know right now versus the young versions. Who's better?
Oh man. I'm thinking old. And I have
You're thinking old?
I have a weird example. The first thing I thought of when you asked me this, for some reason I went to Men in Black. And I went to Tommy Lee Jones and Zach Brolin. Or Josh Brolin. Fucking Zach Brolin. His twin brother who gets paid less.
Okay. All right. Yeah. But I also have another. And these are the two. And God damn it, I was going to get a Star Wars character in here somehow. And I was thinking Ewan McGregor, but in Big Fish versus Albert Finney. And I hated Albert Finney. I'm like, there's no way Ewan McGregor, that sly motherfucker, becomes Albert Finney when he's old.
I never did see that movie.
Oh my God, you need to watch that movie.
That's Terrence Malick, right?
I don't think so. In any case, Ewan McGregor is also young Obi-Wan Kenobi. And although I love Alec Guinness, Ewan McGregor is just number one for me.
Let's see.
Terrence Malick, is it?
Tim Burton.
Oh, it's Tim Burton. Wow.
Tim fucking Burton.
Wow. I actually did not know it was a Tim Burton movie. It doesn't really feel like a Tim Burton movie, though.
It doesn't. That's why I didn't think it was a Tim Burton movie.
I definitely knew it wasn't a fucking Terrence Malick movie. In that case, it would have been like just like Koi Pond, just like filming a Koi Pond for
I was
2
thinking
hours.
of The Tree of Life. Because it's like the same poster, basically.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for joining us this week on another episode of Wicked Hot. If you want to give us a 5-star review on iTunes, 5-star rating, or you could even throw in the review too, we would greatly appreciate that. Don't really ask for too much. Just give us that 5 stars. And of course, if you want to keep up to date with any, if you want to guess on the topic for the next week or whatever, go ahead and give us a subscribe or follow or whatever on iTunes. I mean, not iTunes, on Instagram and Twitter
Or
at
iTunes.
Wicked Hot.
Subscribe
or
on
iTunes.
iTunes.
Yeah, subscribe on iTunes. Follow on Instagram and Twitter at Wicked Hot Talk. Kevin, I don't know if you have anything else before we close.
Nope.
Okay. Well, till next week, guys, and we will catch you on the flip side.
Bye, everybody.